Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Dro and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little dangerous. I'm going to show you how to build a GitHub workflow and a GitHub action that can actually read the secrets from your GitHub repository. Now, of course, it's not something you want to use for your everyday life and definitely not in production, and it's just for educational purposes. But I'm doing this in order to show you something, specifically how to build a workflow that can send input to an action and read the output. And I thought it will be a nice example of how you can bypass some security measures exercised by GitHub to protect your secrets. So try this at home on your own risk and be careful when you do so. And let's jump right into the code without any further ado. So in the code, what I'm going to do is to extract the secret and the variable that you can store in your environment on your GitHub account. I'm going to test it locally using act. We will see how that works. So it will use Docker as a backend, and we will walk through all the details. And again, this is dangerous, so be careful. So this is our workflow. We call it test.yaml. It's triggered upon pushes. And then after a checkout and after some basic echoing to the console, we get to the actual unmasking of the secret. This is done by calling the action unmask. And we give it also an ID here that we will use later to read the output from the action. And it has an input, the value, and we give it the secrets, some secret. That's the name of the secret that we're going to pass. And then in the next step, we read, you see here, we refer to the step unmask secret. We go point to the outputs, and then we will see that we define it in the action. We have unmasked value, the first half and the second half, and we print them. And I wrote here that that's printed from the calling workflow. We also do some printouts from the action itself, so from the called action, to see better what happens where. And similarly, we also run the same action with another input from the vars some var, and we print it out unmasked so we can read it. As a side note, for security purposes, GitHub reducts or masks the secrets you have, and if you try to echo them for whatever reason, sometimes you need to do that, then it will be with stars, so it won't be readable. You need to do some manipulation, and this is what I'm doing here. So next we can look into the action itself. The action defines inputs. Here is the value, and outputs. As we said, 3 outputs, the unmasked value, the first half and the second half. And here is the actual code that unmasks the input. And the way it does it, here it gets the input, the value, and passes it through the sed command. So it adds spaces there, and then it kind of bypasses the security mechanism of GitHub. And here we print the unmasked value. Then we also half it into 2 halves. Sometimes it's helpful that way, and just as, playing around a little bit, and we can print it as well. And lastly comes the most important part, where we actually take the values that we stored in the environment variables, in the unmasked first half and second half, and we push them as a key value setup to this special GitHub output file. Under the hood it's a file, and there everything is persisted, so when this action is called by another workflow, like we do here, then it knows how to point to the outputs. With this we can simply look how it works, and to that end I have here a call using act. If you want me to do more, give more details and do more stuff around act, leave some comments. I can do that, of course. But this is really helpful, and it helps you debug and work on the GitHub actions locally without the need to push empty commits to GitHub, wait for runners to spawn and things like that. It's just there and we can run it. So it uses Docker under the hood. And you see that we provide here some var. This is, and here is a variable, and some secret. This is my secret. And if we go here, this is the called function. So you see that when it receives the input, it masks it. And then when we get to the unmasking, it adds the spaces and we can read it, or the first half and the second half. And then also here, the calling workflow can also print it, which proves that you can use it in other places. And similarly also with the variable, note the difference that the variable is not masked. So actually this exercise doesn't really make sense here, but still, why not? Assume that now we have a repository with this workflow in place and we pushed something. Here is an example of how it looks like when we run it. So we can go directly to the unmask secret, and you see that the secret is unmasked. And similarly, also unmasking the variable works as well. Just to prove that we have here, indeed, in this repository, we have some secrets defined. So there is this some secret which we can't edit. I mean, we have to give a new value, right? You can't see the old value. And the variable that, well, you can edit, but that doesn't matter. With this, I showed you how you can build a nice workflow that gets some input from, you can build an action that gets some input from a workflow, do some processing, in this case, maybe not so useful processing, but still doable, and sends it back to your to the calling workflow where it can be further used for future steps. I hope you like this. Leave some comments below. How do you use actions and what actions did you define? Something exotic. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I'm Dr. Draw, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much.